Hey guys, it's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today is Friday, December 30th, and we are going to walk through this NBA sports betting slate today with the cheat sheet and kind of take a look and see if we can find some plays. So typically, I have 4 or 5 plays that I have mapped out that I want to go over with you, but today I'm just going to go through it. I haven't even looked at it yet. I posted it this morning and I've been running around like crazy all day. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, if you're new, down here, click inside the bottom team. This caret opens up and there's a drop down, and don't forget there's a scroller bar. You can go up and down and look at all the games. So let's take a look at the first game. So we have Washington at Orlando. Washington's -4, or at least it opened -4. And you can see there's a huge difference here. So our model has Washington covering and the overhitting. So that's impressive. So we have it at 123 to 108, so 230 total points. Washington as a 15-point favorite, so that's something that really jumped out. So let's take a look and see if we can figure out why. So Washington, they've been on a little bit of a roll here. You can see here they had a dead streak where they lost a crap ton of games. They've won 3 straight, beating Phoenix and Philadelphia, which is pretty impressive. Lost to Utah and then beat Phoenix again. So they've won 4 of 5, and 2 of the last 3 have been double-digit wins. That's this green color coded over here. So that is definitely a game we want to take a look at. As far as over 222, looking at their recent games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last 6 have been over that number, so I do like that. That's impressive. Orlando, they had a big streak right here, and Banchero was killing it, and then he kind of crapped the bed a little bit, and then they've lost the last 2. Losing to the Lakers isn't the end of the world, but losing to Detroit's pretty pitiful. 2 double-digit losses, so they've lost by a total of 39 total points in their last 2 games combined. They gave up 121 to Detroit and 129 to the Lakers, so I could see why the model's spitting out a Washington to cover this game. As far as trends, the one thing that does jump out here is Washington is 5-14 on the road. So I want to look back here. So these last 2 games they won were at home, but they did manage to win 2 of their last 3 road games. So they did beat Sacramento and Phoenix on the road. So okay, that looks good. See, Orlando's 12-7 against the number at home, 8-9 on the road. Trend-wise, they're upside down on the total, so I like Washington -4 here. I don't think that's terrible. Anytime I can justify an over, I do like that, so I might sprinkle a little bit on the over as well. Let's move on to game number 2. So here, we have Minnesota at Milwaukee. I just got a notification that Holiday was out tonight or unlikely to play. I can't remember which one. And you can see here there's a big difference in our model. We have Minnesota by 13. I don't always recommend going against Milwaukee. Giannis is not someone that I want to doubt, so that's typically a team I don't go against too often, especially when Minnesota's upside down against the numbers. So let's just take a look at the game. So looking at our model, we have Minnesota winning 118 to 112. Minnesota as a 6-point favorite, yet Milwaukee is a 6-point favorite, so it's flipped. Total 228 is what it opened at. We got it 230, 231. Minnesota's lost 4 games in a row, so I would not bet this. And the reason why is our model is spitting out a Minnesota game, and Minnesota may cover. That's fine, but where I put my money is a different story. But Minnesota's lost 4 straight games. Now that they've played tough opponents, Pelicans, Miami, Boston, Dallas, and they've been close games, but I don't know. This one just feels a little fishy here. But Milwaukee has also lost 4 straight games, so, maybe the model's right. Maybe I'm wrong. I do see they have played once before here, and it was a 115 to 102 game that Milwaukee won by 13, putting up 227. So that is interesting. And Milwaukee's at home. Let's look at trends. So the trend alone, I would kick this out. Milwaukee's 14-3 at home, and they are 12-5 against the spread at home. So that alone would kind of kick it away for me. But again, we'll see what the model does. Sometimes the model is better than my thoughts, so we're going to see what happens. The next game, we got Lakers at Atlanta. I'm going to go through these a little quick because I think we do have a pretty big slate tonight. So this one, you can see here, the first thing I do is I glance here and I glance here. So looking at this, we have Lakers 5 points different than the Vegas spread. So We have it as Atlanta should be -3. They're -7.5. That would lean you over to a small lean to the Lakers. Looking at this, Lakers have lost 5 of the last 6 games, 3 of them by double-digit losses, so I don't feel real good about that. But Atlanta has lost 3 of the last 4, but a couple of those has been close. To me, this is close to the Vegas number. I think they put a good line on it. It's not something that I'm going to go after. And as far as the total, we got it at 232. They got it way up at 239. That seems high, but look at what the Lakers have been doing. 239, 239, 264, 254. So I'm probably going to stay away from that. I don't see an edge on it either way. Utah at Sacramento. Here you can see we have Utah by 8. Our recommendation, you can see here, we consider a model play if it's plus or minus 7-point difference. So Utah is plus 3.5, and we have Utah should be -4. So let's take a look at it and see why. Now our projected score is about 120 to 116 for 235, 236 points, which would put this up here at just under and under. So Utah, they've lost 4 of the last 6 games. They haven't played each other yet this year, so Utah's a little all over the place. Lost 2, win 2, lost 2, win 2, lost 2. So they got to win these 2, right? Today and tomorrow? We'll see. Sacramento, they're also a little sporadic. Win, loss, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, loss. Haven't played each other. Nothing to really jump there. Trends, 7-13, 10-7, 10-6, 11-9. Nothing that really jumps out there. So if you wanted to bet Utah, I could see it, but it doesn't really jump out at me. I don't see anything that I love here. One of the things, if I see this last 10 record, if they're upside down, so like 4-6, I don't really love it taking 3.5 points, so I'm probably going to stay away from this. The reason Sacramento lost a lot of these games is Sabonis was hurt, and he came back in the last game, and you can see they beat Denver 127-126. So Sabonis being in the lineup definitely changes things. Moving over here to Miami at Denver. Miami's always a tricky team to cap because of Butler's in, he's out, and then he gets rest, then he plays, and then Hero goes off. So it's a little tricky. So here we don't have a difference on this one. They didn't have a spread, or it was pick'em. Right now we've got Miami -1. Miami's been doing pretty decent. They've won 6 of the last 8 games. They haven't played each other yet this year. Denver just lost by 1 to Sacramento, but other than that, look at that. They've won 8 of 9, and 3 of those were double-digit wins. So both of these teams doing really good. Me personally, I would lean home team here. I would go ahead and take Denver, depending on what the spread is. Here you can see Miami is 6-9 on the road, and Denver is a solid 12-3 at home, even though they're only 8-7 ATS. And then Miami is 6-8 ATS on the road. One of the things that does jump out at me are the trends on the total. So this is a 10-5 under when Denver is at home, and then Miami is a 9-6 under when they are on the road. Now you see 6-9, that's for the over, so you just flip it around so the under hits 9 out of 15 times. So a trendy play here pointing to the under. So whether or not you like it, that is up to you, but something to definitely take a look at. Me, personally, I would probably lean Denver in this spot. I like Jokic. He's playing great. Jamal Murray's been stepping up. Both the teams really good over the last 10 games, so I don't think there's a strong edge either way. I would just lean Denver because they play so well at home. Going down here to Portland and Golden State, you can see quickly here our model has Golden State by 9. So that's a difference of 9 from the Vegas spread. So looking at our model, we have Golden State should be -6. They're getting +3, so that's how we come up with the 9. And we've got this one going under the total. So let's take a look at it. They've not played yet this year. Portland, they've lost 3 of the last 4 games. And they had a big road stretch, played 1 game at home. Now they're back on the road again. Golden State, they've picked it up a little bit. They might have found their rhythm here. They've won 3 straight, knocking off Memphis, Charlotte, and Utah, winning by 14, 5-5. And these last 2 games have stayed pretty low. 219, 215, that's pretty low for a Golden State game. And then we've got some low ones for Portland here, 199, 202. Our model's leaning way under, so under is a consideration for me that I will definitely look at. And then, if we've got Golden State by 6 at home, that's definitely a game I'm going to take a look at. So I kind of lean Golden State here, plus the 3 points. I probably won't take the 3. I'll just take the money line. Both teams 5-5 over the last 10. As far as trends, Golden State is 15-2 at home. Look at this. Golden State 15-2 at home straight up. On the road, they're 3-16. So, and these last 3 wins have all been at home. So, Golden State at home. I'm just going to take the money line here. I like that one. That looks pretty good to me. Portland 10-10 on the road. Nothing amazing. They're 12-8 ATS on the road. But look at this. Golden State 12-4 ATS at home. I like that one. And we talked about this game possibly going under. I try not to bet unders, even though I do sprinkle a little bit on them. They just infuriate me when they don't hit. Looking at this, so Golden State, look at this. They're 14-4 for an over when they're on the road, but at home they're a 6-11 over, meaning they are 11-6 for the under at home. And then nothing real different here, kind of the same with Portland. You know, they go under when they're on the road, so both of these teams are trending to an under here. Portland, you could say, is a 12-8 underplay on the road, and Golden State an 11-6 underplay at road. So kind of like that. Let's flip down here. We got 3 more games, and we're at 11 minutes, so we're cruising right along. So we got Phoenix, Toronto. Spread, 4-point difference, +2, -2, not enough for me. Lean over by 8. The over is something I would take a look at, although I would be very careful with Phoenix because lots of times these 206, 208 games, those are the ones I usually bet the over on, and I'm furious when it's there. So Vegas opened it at 223. We've got it at 231. So these teams have not played yet this year. You can see Phoenix recent games. They've all been 220s, 230s, even have a 250 spot here. And then Toronto's kind of the same way. 220, 230, 250. They had one low game against Philadelphia. But other than that, so yeah, I like the Phoenix-Toronto over here. Looking at the trends, Phoenix is a 10-6 overplay on the road. Toronto's a 10-8 overplay at home. That ain't too bad. I'll take that. As far as the side, I'm going to stay away from it. Phoenix does a little worse on the road, but again, it's hard to throw that team out or go against them. But our model here, we're spitting an over 223. That's probably what I'm going to go with because that's greater than 8. That's a model play. I do like it looking at the numbers. The trends agree with it. As far as the side, 2-8, 4-6 over the last 10. Both teams are upside down. They have several losses under their belt. I'm not going to pick a side on this one, but if you did, our model would say take Phoenix +2, but again, I don't like that. 2 more games. Let's run through these real quick. We got Detroit and Chicago. So here we have another over by 7 and Detroit by 6. So our model has this with Chicago winning by 3. So this would lean you to take Detroit +8.5. You can't feel good about a team that's 2-8 over the last 10 games. So that alone, I would throw it out. I love Chicago. It's one of my favorite teams. DeRozan, Levine, Vuk. They're amazing to watch, so I typically don't bet against them. That's just my personal opinion. Detroit also, you can see here, look, they've lost 6 of the last 7 games. They did just beat Orlando by 20. The 2 guys off the bench, Saddiq Bey and I can't remember the other guy, but they just went nuts. But other than that, then they had lost 6 games and they had lost 3 games before a win. These were by double digits. If anything, I would lean Chicago, but you don't feel good about laying 8.5. That's a big number. Chicago, they've won 4 of the last 5 games. They did lose to Houston by 15 somehow, but then they came back. They beat Milwaukee by 6. They beat the Knicks by 1. They beat Atlanta by 2 and Miami by 10. So I would look at this and say out of the last 5 games, they've only covered a spread of 8.5 one time, and that was against Miami. And then they have a bunch of losses here. So model is saying take Detroit +8.5. I don't bet against Chicago, so me personally, I won't. But over 230 is a play. 230 is kind of a key number when you get over that. That takes a lot of points. Looking at Detroit here, they had a spring where they were way over, under, over, and slightly under. And then over here, Chicago hasn't really been doing that. So we've got barely over, barely over, under, way over, way under. So a little bit all over the place. Chicago's also a 10-6 underplay at home. So I probably won't touch the over here. Model says take over 230. We got it at 236, 237. But that seems like a lot of points for me. Last game, Philadelphia at New Orleans. So here we have New Orleans by 5 off the Vegas spread and over by 2. It's not ±7, so nothing jumps out as far as a model play. We have Pelicans winning 117 to 113. Pelicans -4. They're getting 1. Philadelphia has been fire. That's another team I don't like to bet against because I like watching Harden and Embiid. I think they're just dominant. They're fun to watch. You can see here Philadelphia absolutely has been crushing people, but again, all these games were at home. Now they're on a road stretch, and they beat the Knicks by 7. They lost to Washington by 5, and then now they're on the road again against the Pelicans. Pelicans, they lost 4 straight, and then I think Zion was out a lot of those games, and then they've won 4 straight. Now, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Indy, they're not tough teams. Minnesota's not amazing, but they did manage to win all 4 of those games, so that is impressive. So the model's saying take New Orleans +1 or the money line. We have them winning. Me personally, I don't bet against them. As far as the trends, Pelicans are 15-4 at home. Zion's back, so it should be a good game watching them beat on each other. As far as the trend total, I don't see anything. 9-5, 9-10, kind of 50-50. So that's kind of where we're at for the day. So if you're playing any prize picks, we do have a prize picks tab here that shows us all our trends, streaks, last 5 hit percentage, last 10. And then we have our prop tool that breaks down and has all of our game logs here. That's a lot of fun. We've did some videos on those. But again, for sports betting, that's what our cheat sheet has for today. It's updated again at 4:30. So thank you and good luck.